Let's go. Time to grind, get inside your mind. Yeah, we working overtime. That's the only way to climb. We gon' make it in our prime. Signing on the dotted line, cashing checks left and right. That's the way I'm living life. I feel alive when I got a goal in sight. Chip away, I gotta fight. Ain't nobody else in sight. Man, I think I see the light. Yeah, that shit is so bright. Follow me, I got the guide. See you on the other side, son. Ain't nobody know what I've been through.
What is going on, everyone? And in this video, I'm giving you my UFC Sao Paulo main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday, November 4th, 2023, out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Overall, I think it's a pretty good Brazilian card. I think there's some good fights on here. Obviously, look out for the split decisions. Go the other way, right, for the Brazilians classic. But yeah, I mean, the main event, Derrick Lewis versus Almeida, I mean, that's a pretty interesting fight. I think the Curtis Blades would have had a little bit more depth to it, as far as like having to see what Almeida was gonna do, how he was gonna deal with like an opponent who also can wrestle, who can also grapple, and take you down. Whereas Lewis, I think the game plan is gonna be pretty obvious, and then obviously for Lewis, you know, he's got to knock him out and not get taken down. So we'll see how this one plays out. But interested for the Brazilian card, always like to see it. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. In the first fight on the main card, we have Ismael Bonfim, 19-4, taking on Vinc Pichel, 14-3 in a lightweight bout. So for the most part, you know, you had Bonfim kind of run into a truck in his last fight, got taken down twice by Benoit Saint-Denis, and then he got submitted. Before that, he actually ends up landing a takedown in that fight, and then he hits the KO on Terrence McKinney with the flying knee. So he kind of went out there and starched him. I think he was definitely being overlooked. I think I didn't even pick him. Definitely being overlooked for his UFC debut. And then against Benoit Saint-Denis, definitely a tougher adversary. Someone that wasn't going to break down and then had the better grappling. So for Bonfim, I think again in this fight he's got to keep upright. I don't really see him diving in for takedowns. Maybe he tries to pull off a submission or something, but for the most part, I don't think he's going to be the one diving in for takedowns. I think he's going to want to try to get this one finished on the feet, try to hurt him, but it's going to be hard because Vinc Pichel is a very tough opponent. He's one of these guys that I think is going to want to take this fight deep, right? Even if he's eating some shots, he just wants to try to keep coming forward, get in his face, be aggressive, and probably try to tire him out for the 3 rounds. So it could be a close fight. Like I said, Pichel really hasn't been finished outside of the KO slam in his very first fight all the way back in 2012. Well, he got finished against Zaleski, but that was via submission. So it's not like he's been getting knocked out each fight. He just fought Mark Madsen, and he was able to take him down once, outstruck him, but still lost, probably because of the control time of the takedowns. But yeah, Pichel, tough guy. Like I said, I think Bonfim, keep it on the feet. His striking, he can get a little bit crazy. Like maybe having that loss in the UFC will make him feel like, oh, you know, I gotta let me take a step back. Let me be a little bit more technical, not rush in there. Still try to light him up. Like I still think he's gonna definitely light him up, and I feel like Pichel will probably be the one throughout the fight getting hit more. Bonfim may be able to finish him, but Pichel seems pretty tough to me. So I think over the course of the fight, Bonfim will be hitting him with good combinations, mixing in some things, hopefully defending the takedowns, preparing for that 3-round decision, not unloading everything early on, getting into a wild exchange and getting clipped and then getting submitted himself or something. So I think he can beat up Pichel. Not finish him. Pichel's pretty tough. So I'm going to go with Ismael Bonfim to defeat Vinc Pichel. I'll take him to win by decision. In the second fight on the main card, we have Rodolfo Vieira, 9-2, taking on Armen Petrosyan, 9-2. So equal records for both guys. In a middleweight bout, you have Vieira coming into this fight in where he's obviously going to try to get the takedown, try to get the grappling going, try to get the arm triangle, try to get the guillotine choke, try to get the rear naked choke. He's going for all the chokes, right? He's just going to try to take you down. In his fight against Chris Curtis, he ends up going for 20 takedowns and getting absolutely none of them. Now, granted, Chris Curtis, right, if you have him fight Petrosyan, he might annihilate him. I don't know how that plays out. So Chris Curtis, I think how do you win against Vieira? Well, you just defend the takedowns, right? You don't even let him get there. And you get to the point where you're just lighting him up on the feet, and this guy is just trying to pop shot you. I mean, I'm sure he can land some good strikes, but even in his fight against Cody Brundage, he ends up getting dropped early on. Just kind of sloppy at times too, right? It gets kind of predictable. So early on, Petrosyan just needs to keep his distance, get out of the way, light him up from a distance, and just keep defending takedowns. Like the moment they get into a clinch or anything, just get out of there. Pop, 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 pop. Just keep trying to land that damage on him to the point where Vieira is just chasing you around, right? Even in his fight against Anthony Hernandez, right, he gets submitted. It's the same kind of thing. He gets 4 takedowns, but then he only has 9 significant strikes. Anthony Hernandez has 32 significant strikes. He ends up getting the submission. So, yeah, it's not going to be like, I mean, I guess Petrosyan could definitely, maybe he gets absolutely destroyed and gets taken down. But I don't see Vieira like being the one to like fly across the ring, drop him, and then Petrosyan is like getting submitted off of like a big shot, right? I think if anything, it's because Petrosyan makes a mistake somewhere in those 20 takedown attempts, and then Vieira is able to get that going. But Petrosyan has good leg kicks. If he puts the volume, that's and the other thing too is like Petrosyan has been taken down, right? So the concern here is like, well, if Caio Borralho is able to take him down 4 times, then Vieira is going to just take him down and kill him. AJ Dobson takes him down 3 times, right? So you might look at that and be like, that's a little concerning. Gregory Rodriguez took him down twice. But in those fights, Petrosyan was winning. Like even in the fight against Borralho, he was winning 31 significant strikes landed to 12. So he's going to be probably the more active guy on the feet, right? He's going to be throwing things out there. They just have to be hurt. They have to sting Vieira, right? Get him out of his game. And I think, it's sketchy because, like, obviously the route for Vieira winning, it could be all over in 10 seconds if Vieira just takes him down and then, submits him and then it's all over. But I don't know. I just guys that are like they commit to getting the takedown after and then it gets really awkward and they get hit and they still diving in for like one of the legs while like they just keep resorting to the same thing, spamming the takedown like we're playing a UFC game. I don't know. It's just I think it will work against low level dudes, but Petrosyan, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here and not just completely say he's gonna get destroyed in 10 seconds. Defend some takedowns, land some good shots, try to just get Vieira diving in, tired out a little bit, and you're kind of just, maybe you get that 118 significant strikes to Vieira's 58, like he did against AJ Dobson or something. So I'm gonna go Armen Petrosyan. I know it's sketchy, but I don't know. I just don't like that Vieira. Like this dude just resorts to the same thing over and over and over. Like eventually it's not gonna work. Like that's probably why he's not gonna be at that top level. He's gonna run into another Chris Curtis and it's just not gonna work. So I'm gonna go Armen Petrosyan to defeat Rodolfo Vieira. I'll take him to win by decision. In the third fight on the main card, we have Caio Borralho, 14-1, 1-0 contest, taking on Abus Magomedov, 25-1. In a middleweight bout. So for Borralho, coming off a good win, submission rear naked choke against Michel Olenjacek in a fight where, on the feet at least, very competitive, whatnot. Olenjacek was actually backing him up a lot, but gets those 3 takedowns. And then once he starts climbing on you, right, backpacking you, he's transitioning, it's all over. So he gets the submission. So that was a good win for him because he had 3 wins via unanimous decision in fights that weren't really the best fights, right? Not the most exciting fights, but definitely one of these guys, classic, wants to take you down. Not as much as our previous Rodolfo Vieira. Definitely not as much as him, but similar concept. On the feet, he's got some good kicks. Not really throwing the volume out there, putting together the combinations. Again, really, I think he's just trying to set up those takedowns. And when you're pressing forward on him, you could give him a little bit of a trouble. I don't think he likes backing up like that. I think he'd rather be coming forward, but he's not really using a lot of his striking to back his opponent up, right? His opponents are kind of just focused on not getting taken down. So maybe that'll open up some things here for him, but we'll have to see. For Abus Magomedov, he's coming in off of a loss against Sean Strickland, round number 2, KO TKO via punches. He ends up landing actually one takedown on Sean Strickland, but for the most part gets outstruck 81 significant strikes to 47, and he gets taken out, obviously. So, yeah, that one, I mean, he just wasn't the better striker in that fight. He does have some grappling. I think he could possibly negate Borralho. It'll be interesting, right? It just depends. Is he going to be able to negate anything here? Is he going to be able to get his own takedowns, right? That's the interesting part. And then the striking, is he going to be able to kind of do a lot more volume and then maybe he's able to win a close decision against Borralho, but we have to see. But I definitely think the grappling might be a little bit back and forth kind of thing going on here. So we actually might get to see Borralho actually use a lot more of his striking, because he's going to have to. If he's not being able to consistently take Magomedov down. Magomedov does load up on his shots a lot. So again, another thing that there's probably going to be moments where Borralho could counter him, right? If he's loading up on a lot of those shots. We saw Magomedov get that body lock takedown, so maybe he tries to go in there. He does have good power, but he's going to have to be the guy pressing forward, lighting up Borralho, trying to get him to just keep backing up, lighting him up, frustrate him, right? Magomedov defend the takedowns. Because I really wouldn't, I still don't think it's wise, even if Magomedov can get a takedown or engage in the grappling. I don't think it's wise to do that right off the bat, because obviously when you're facing a guy like Borralho, he could definitely counter, right? He could obviously reverse the position, and the next thing you know, you went for the takedown and now you're getting choked out. So again, it's just a lot for me. Like, Magomedov's really gonna have to come out here, be the aggressor, and have the better grappling, and I'm just not so sure that's gonna happen. Borralho has a little bit more fights in the octagon, more time in the octagon, so he's used to going in there against these guys. Obviously Magomedov, I mean, he just fought the ex-middleweight champion, so I mean, that's a pretty good experience to have, even though he lost. But still, I think I'm going to go with Caio Borralho on this one. So for me, I'm going to go with Caio Borralho to defeat Abus Magomedov. I'll take the win by decision. In the fourth fight on the main card, we have Rodrigo Nascimento, 10-1, 2-no contest, taking on Dante Almeida, 10-5, in a heavyweight bout. And so right off the bat, this has got to be the most 50-50 fight you're going to see on this card, just because it's a heavyweight fight. It's a rematch. Both guys are not like on that top echelon of heavyweight fighters. Both guys have their ways of winning, but they could also just absolutely annihilate each other very quickly, to the point where the other guy doesn't have the opportunity to do anything. So obviously these guys fought before in a fight that took place on May 16th of 2020. So during the whole COVID thing, Rodrigo Nascimento was able to get the submission, rear naked choke in round number 2. Close in the significant strikes landed. Obviously, I think the difference maker in that one was Nascimento landing 2 takedowns and then, getting the submission. So the biggest takeaway for me here is, like, okay, what has either guy done since then, right? So Nascimento losing to Chris Daukaus, KO TKO in round number 1. Not good, right? Chris Daukaus is just not it when it comes to the heavyweight division. No contest against Alan Badeau, overturned, unfortunately, for both guys, really. Then he defeats Tanner Boser by split decision. That's a split decision, like, okay, like, he gets outstruck but lands those 3 takedowns. Against Alir Latifi, he ends up winning another split decision. He gets taken down twice, outstrikes him. These fights are very close. It's not like he's annihilating these guys. Heavy shots, obviously, on the feet. Cardio was a little bit of a problem early on, but I think maybe he's kind of pacing himself a little bit better. He can't get into a wild exchange with Dante Almeida, right? He's just not going to be it. Neither of these guys should be doing that, but I feel like Dante Almeida will definitely probably go for the fences, where Nascimento needs to sit back, duck under, get the takedown, and do the same thing. For Dante Almeida, so since after he lost via that, he defeats 2 guys, unanimous decision, KO TKO, no contest, takes on a little bit better competition. Now we start getting a little bit more names. Loses to Augusto Sakai, unanimous decision. kind of just gets outstruck and gets taken down once. He defeats Andrei Arlovsky, but time and time again, at this point, if you want to even get anywhere in this division, you got to be taking out Andrei Arlovsky. So he wins that fight, KO TKO round number 2, clips him, goes down, whatever. So yeah, this one, I don't think he's just going to clip Nascimento and then, it's all, I mean, I guess he could, right? I guess if they just get into an exchange, like anything could happen. But the problem here is just Mays needs to defend that takedown because they could get into a good exchange about whatever, and then Nascimento just ducks underneath, takes him down, and next thing you know, he's just on his back. And I just don't think Mays is going to be able to get off. He's not really going to get Nascimento off of him at that point, and I think it would be all over. Now, the reason why I say 50-50 is because at the same time, Nascimento could easily just get clipped early on, and next thing you know, Mays is just on top of him, flatlining him. So, and I guess Nascimento could technically KO Mays, but I feel like he's probably going to try to get the fight to the ground. It would be the smart thing. I think this fight ends in the first round. Flip a coin, pick a guy. I'm going to go with Rodrigo Nascimento because I think he has more ways to win, even if it's just ducking under a lot of this brawling style of a fight, of the attack of Mays, and then going for a submission. I'm going to trust Nascimento on the floor more than I trust Mays on the feet. Could be completely wrong and he gets flatlined. But I'm going to go Rodrigo Nascimento to defeat Don'Tale Mays. I'll take him to win by round 1 submission. In the co-main event, we have Gabriel Bonfim, so the other brother, 15-0, taking on Nicolas Dalby, 22-4-1, in a welterweight bout. So this is a pretty good fight because I think a really good challenge for Gabriel Bonfim, obviously undefeated in the UFC, undefeated all around overall. And then you have someone like Nicolas Dalby, who obviously has a lot of that veteran experience coming into this fight. First fight in the UFC against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. He wins that via split decision all the way back in May 30th of 2015. So he's been in the game, right? He's definitely been fighting. And he's kind of like he's a gatekeeper kind of guy, right? Never really gets to that next level, but he's beaten some pretty good guys. And he's tough, right? He's not getting KO'd. Like literally all of his fights outside of the one that got overturned, decisions. So, like, he's definitely a tough guy. He's going to go in there. He can definitely put up some good volume. We saw that against Warley Alves. Musum Sulikov, that was a good win for him. In his last one, wins via decision. He's able to get those takedowns. He's not necessarily diving in for takedowns, but he's definitely one of these guys who go in for takedowns. But obviously against Bonfim, might not want to do that early on because Bonfim could definitely go for that guillotine, pull a submission easily. We saw in his last fight against Trevin Giles, that submission via guillotine choke. He's got a Von Flue choke, guillotine choke in his other fight in the UFC. So he's really only going to give you a couple seconds. So if you make a mistake where Dalby just dives in for the takedown and this dude just pulls guillotine, like it could be over. Like, and that's the problem. Dalby's not gonna have opportunity to like make a lot of mistakes. Bonfim, I think his striking is pretty good too. I think he puts it together a little bit better than his brother on the feet. Definitely mixes in more combinations. I could see him going 3 rounds with Dalby and like not like looking like horrible at the end. I think he could definitely go toe to toe with him. That'll be interesting to see how he handles that. But Dalby, like I said, he's definitely fought guys before. Like he fought Warley Alves, whose game plan 99% of the time is to get some sort of takedown and go for a submission. But he outstrikes him, right? So he's definitely capable of also defending some takedowns. And I think that's pretty good. 62% takedown defense. Against Musum Sulikov, defended. Well, he didn't defend. He got taken down twice by him, but he went for 5 takedowns, he got 2. So he might try to mix it in. And I would say probably towards the end of the fight. For Gabriel Bonfim, though, he's going to come in here. Fast hands, man. I have a feeling he's going to come right off. He's going to come right out there. He's going to go toe-to-toe with him, start lighting him up. And see if he can get Dalby to like, oh, shit, this is not what I want to deal with. Dives in for the takedown. Boom, submission. That first round, though, I feel like might be a good feel-out round for both of these guys because, like I said, I know Bonfim's aggressive and all that, but he has to still be careful. At the end of the day, Dalby, man, he could definitely crack him. Like, he could crack him if he gets too crazy. You have that undefeated feeling inside, right? I'm going to run through all these guys, and you might, but the moment you get a little bit too cocky, a little bit too excited in there, you're not seeing that next thing coming. And then next thing you know, Dalby's on top of him, dropping the bombs, and Bonfim's like, whoa, what happened? So I would still like to see maybe that first round, Bonfim work the striking, see, test the waters, see how good he is compared to Dalby's striking, see what he's looking at. And then in that second round, get a little bit more aggressive. And then if he's able to get Dalby to dive in for a takedown, or even he goes in for his own take, maybe it hurts him or whatever. That second round, I'd like to see him get the finish. Yeah, I mean, I think Gabriel Bonfim is just going to be nasty to deal with because he has that ability on the feet where he's not just winging for punches and he's not just diving in for takedowns. Like, he's actually got some pretty good striking, and obviously his jiu-jitsu game is very good as well. So I'm going to have confidence in him to defeat Nicolas Dalby here. So I'm going to go Gabriel Bonfim to defeat Nicolas Dalby. I'll take him to win by round 2 submission. In the main event of the evening, we have Jailton Almeida, 19-2, taking on Derrick Lewis, 27-11 in a heavyweight bout. So this is a good fight for him. Almeida able to get those takedowns consistently, landing the submissions. Obviously, we've seen that. Can do some good ground and pound. Pretty straightforward game plan for him. I mean, even against Rosenstrike, he actually went for he went for 2 takedowns and only got one of them, but the one obviously led to the finish. But he did, Rosenstrike did stop one of those takedowns. So I think for Lewis, same concept. Hit him with the uppercut, hit him with something, a flying knee when he's going in for that takedown. Because Almeida really has to set this up really good. Otherwise, he's going to get annihilated. It doesn't matter who you are. If Derrick Lewis is literally trying to flying knee you in the head, it's all over. So Derrick Lewis, I mean, yeah, defend the takedowns, maybe try to take the fight deep. I mean, if he can, if he's not able to knock him out, and see what Almeida can give him, like in the 4th round, the 3rd round, see if he's like, both guys are just gassed out at that point. But I mean, the moment Almeida, if he's able to get one takedown, like, it's just not going to be good. Like, he's going to climb all over him like Spivak did and just submit him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see this getting dragged out for like 3 rounds or whatever. But it's just like one of those moments where you're just questioning, is Almeida going to go in for one of these lazy takedowns and then get absolutely annihilated because Lewis catches him? Like, that's the fun part though, right? It's interesting to someone out there is hoping, a lot of people are out there hoping that Derrick Lewis like flying knees him or something. So we'll see what happens. But I think obviously the smart pick here, just because you're banking on Lewis landing another KO or something, the smart pick here is for Almeida to defeat Derrick Lewis. So I'm going to go Jailton Almeida. For the love of God, do not go in for a sloppy takedown. Set that shit up. Obviously, don't trade with him, but, get a hold of him, take him down, and start transitioning, mounting, doing your thing, and getting that victory. So I'm going to go Jailton Almeida to defeat Derrick Lewis. I'll take him to win by round 1 submission. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Sao Paulo predictions. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to this card. I think it's going to be an interesting one. A lot of the Brazilian cards, the fans are hyped. Everything's crazy. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. See if there's anything crazy that happens. But hopefully it's a good card. Leave your comments down below. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video.